Hello everyone. My name is Tapio Pesala and I'm the Investor Relations Manager here at FSecure. I would like to warmly welcome you all to our Q4 and full year webcast today. With me today I have, as usual, our CEO, Samu Konttinen, who will next run through the financials from the quarter and the full year. After Samu's presentation, there will be some time for questions, at which time we'll allow you to unmute yourselves, so we'll unmute yourselves. Thank you for joining us today, and now, Samu, it's your turn.
Hello everyone. So as Tapio said, we'll go through our Q4 numbers and also the numbers for the full year, and then obviously at the end we'll be talking about our outlook for 2018, and also we will be issuing a long-term financial guidance as well. As a headline, what we wanted to elevate that perhaps as the main theme for the quarter release is that the B2B cybersecurity domain, which is the one where we have invested most during the last few years, we continue witnessing a quite nice growth there. So we were quite satisfied ourselves with the 16% growth during Q4. So that is the headline that we wanna get across from this call. And now if we look at the highlights from Q4 first before we start looking into the full year. So I'm starting from the corporate security that grew by 16%. So really the main positives were the sales success of our new products in cybersecurity domain, namely Rapid Detection Service and Radar, our vulnerability management product. So we are still quite early days with these two new solutions. Practically, I think last year, 2017, was the first year with the full commercial push with the products. And if I'm now looking at both actually the full year performance, but especially I think the Q4, so our B2B growth was quite a lot driven by the new products. And these new products, Rapid Detection Service, that is in the managed detection service industry, and Rapid and Radar in the vulnerability management, they both are very much core components for what comes to our long-term strategy in cybersecurity. The second very positive from Q4 was our cybersecurity services really continued a very strong growth. So the industry is very appealing. There is we are witnessing actually more demand than what we can supply. So it's almost like a supply constrained industry for FSecure currently. And so we really maxed our capability to deliver in cybersecurity consulting. Our utilization and billing rates were practically as high as they can virtually be. So I couldn't have asked for a better performance in that front. Although whenever we talk about cybersecurity consulting, part of the FSecure B2B business mix, I think it's important to remember and to underscore the fact that it's still the scalable software business that really is the core of FSecure, and we see these cybersecurity services being very adjacent and complementary to product business. But nevertheless, it's a interesting and important component within the whole mix, and we are really witnessing a very strong performance on that front. And the last one to mention within the B2B security growth was our Endpoint Protection. So this business in order intake was pretty much on previous year's level. So definitely on the lower end of our own expectations, and something that we are looking to recover to a clear growth and towards clearly beating market growth, as has been the case in the beginning of the year. And the mixed performance continues. We are seeing that really the challenges being focused on a couple of countries where we have challenges with our sales performance. So this is not a generic trend that we would be seeing top line softness across all our regions. So we continue being very confident that the product mix is right and the product quality is right. So the offering in endpoint protection domain is very well meeting the market requirements. So it's very much an isolated sales challenges that we have in a couple of countries. I unfortunately foresee the weakness to continue in those countries probably throughout the Q1 as well, but towards the Q2, I think we are expecting this to bounce back to healthy growth. And now going into consumer security, and this really is a mixed bag, and it's very important to understand the underlying levers in it. So the overall consumer security was down by 3%, and then it's really the components that make the business mix they are very varying from each other. So if I first look at the positives, the first is that our direct consumer sales elsewhere, we are really focusing in the Nordics. So we continue winning market share both with end customers and also with channel. We continue growing. We continue clearly outpacing the market. So we are actually very satisfied with the growth that we are seeing in the direct consumer, whereas the direct consumer is a smaller part, clearly smaller part of our overall consumer business, whereas the bigger part is the operator channel. But direct consumer is going really well. And now I'm moving to operator channel. So already Q3 we talked about performance challenges that we have in Latin America, and we didn't offer much additional color about what that performance challenge in Latin America is all about, and now we are opening it up a bit more. So we lost one of our major operator customers in South America, and the loss of that one single account was the single, I would say, one-off factor that pushed our consumer security to a revenue decline in Q4. And because the loss of the account that was already happened in Q3, so we will see this loss of one significant account really impacting the FSecure consumer security performance also in the upcoming 2 quarters, so Q1 and Q2. But then after Q2, I think once the comparison numbers are again changed, and if I'm looking at the overall operator channel, so our overall operator channel continues looking very stable, very robust, very healthy. So the operator channel outside this one single lost partner is slightly growing. So I'm very happy with that. And now recapping the numbers. So here we see that the full year revenue landed at 7% growth. Q4 was 5%. Corporate security were both for Q4 and full year 16% growth. And consumer security Q4 -3% and full year 1%. So I would say largely, if I'm just looking at the big picture, how we performed and how we tracked with our key objectives throughout the year. So this was overall very, very much according to our expectations. So a year largely went as planned. The operating profit 11.1 million, and then we had a guidance from 8 to 12. So this was towards the upper end of the guidance. So we are very happy with the profitability. So I think we have very good operational control and business control in place. So although investing growth and really investing in quite a few multiple arenas, I'm still confident that we are controlling the business and so the cost management is on a good level, which often is a challenge when you are investing a lot. So it's so easy that you loosen your expenditure a little bit too much, and then the costs get out of hand. Although you were meant to be investing, but the money is not always well spent. So I'm very happy with the financial controls and the operational rigor that we have in place within the company. And then the last thing that I'm perhaps wanting to pay attention with this slide is that the deferred revenue. So the deferred revenue by year end was growing by 13%, and this just shows that the sales is accelerating. So if you look at the deferred revenue growing 13% and the revenue growing 7%, so as deferred revenue is clearly outpacing the revenue growth, it just shows that our sales is accelerating, and our order intake is growing faster than the revenue, and this is a good, very good sign, and gives us further confidence going forward that the order intake is tracking very positively. And now this is about the profitability. So here in the graphical presentation, you see how our profitability has changed throughout the year, and I think this just reflects that we've been investing throughout the year quite consistently, and you just see as the top line is growing, so that the profitability is therefore improving, but not making now any interpretations for the profitability levels for 2018. So we will get back to that at the end of the call. And now this gives you also a historical data about our deferred revenue that I already explained, outpacing the revenue growth, and you see here that throughout the year we've been trending between 9 and 13%, so all the time very healthy, and most of the times outpacing the revenue growth. So we are quite satisfied with the deferred revenue growth, which is a function from our order intake, largely in the B2B sales, slightly also in direct consumer sales. And here you see the overall company business mix, where the black line in the middle gives you a view to a total growth year over year. Now here you see that the consumer is now declining in Q4 because of this one-off in Latin America, and the impact was already there in Q3, whereas otherwise our Q3 was also very strong, so that the impact wasn't so visible, but now in Q4 the impact is very visible. And now in the B2B, in the corporate revenue growth, you see that throughout the year we've been ranging from 11% growth to 22% growth, and now 16 as the final number of Q4, and also 16 was the pace throughout the whole year. So we're quite pleased with the corporate security growth. And if I'm now looking at FSecure a little bit from a helicopter perspective, so we are really in a transformation. So in the past few years, we've invested very significantly in corporate security. We've increased our offering from pure play endpoint protection, and today FSecure carries just so much more. So we carry detection capabilities with our RDS detection and response service. We carry vulnerability management with FSecure Radar. We offer a very broad range of cybersecurity services to complement the product business. The services catalog consists of forensics, incident response, red teaming, and security and risk management. And if you put all that together and just look at the FSecure security catalog all together and compare that us being an endpoint security only player 2-3 years ago, so we've gone a long way already, and we are really satisfied how we have managed to beef up the portfolio, and we really meeting the market requirements in cybersecurity. And couple of very encouraging, strong external statements underscoring FSecure capabilities in this front. So first would be that the Gartner had FSecure now in the newly released Magic Quadrant for Endpoint Protection platforms as a visionary, and so I think that's a recognition to our technology leadership. And the second one is that just looking at the pure hardcore protection capability, so probably the most reputable and recognized industry analyst, AV-Test.org, has nominated FSecure 5 times during the last 6 times as the best protection for the year. So I'm really happy with our continued capability to produce world-class technology in cybersecurity place. And perhaps recapping the transformation. So today it's first is that we witnessed a very good growth with the new products, Rapid Detection Service and FSecure Radar. The cybersecurity services continues growing really fast. I think we see the deal size are increasing, and the repetition deals is increasing. So the customers are increasingly buying more. So the total customer lifetime value is increasing. Endpoint security, although the year end was somewhat of a disappointment, so definitely lower end of our expectations. But if I'm looking at the full year, so we continue growing and growing faster than the market. So even on that front, growing faster than the market, it means winning market share. And we've been relatively successful on hiring new talent to our cybersecurity consulting practices. We've added a lot of people in R&D, sales, and marketing. So we are just pushing for growth, and the investments overall are yielding very much as we had anticipated. So we are on a good track. But I would also say only in the beginning of our transformation. And really to highlight the areas where we are investing most would be Rapid Detection Service. So that really had a strong start now. If I'm looking at the customers there, so we have some of the very demanding industry verticals where we have won a lot of household names. So unfortunately not being able to disclose the logos here, but the industries that we already serve with Rapid Detection Services: finance, media, high-tech, IT services, critical infrastructure and energy. And some of these, like if I'm looking at energy, critical infrastructure and finance specifically, they are very demanding customers, and we've seen also now replacement with Rapid Detection Service. So the customer was previously using some other technology from leading detection companies, but weren't happy with the performance, and we've managed to swap them out. And now looking at the 2018, so it's a big year for us. Endpoint detection and response service that is largely leveraging the same underlying technology as we built for Rapid Detection Service. So we will be launching this EDR product during 2018, and this really will be the biggest launch for FSecure during 2018, and we have very high expectations for that, both as a new customer, how it will accelerate the new customer acquisition. It offers a brilliant upsell component to all our existing customers, and also that we are building the EDR product in a way that it's compatible with the third-party endpoint protection So we can offer EDR capability to those customers who might be using some other vendors' endpoint protection. So just adding an extra layer of protection there and not putting all your eggs into one basket. And given how we definitely are a challenger in this market, some other vendors have much bigger market share in endpoint protection. So I see this as a big upside, big opportunity for FSecure to start positioning our EDR on top of a kind of a third-party endpoint protection by offering a different angle to protection and an additional layer of security. And also in endpoint protection, so a lot of stuff happening there. So we have new product capabilities released for both Macs and PCs. A lot of usability improvements there, and looking at the new security features that we rolled out during 2017 is data guard for ransomware protection. We added password protection. So that line of product is also very much evolving, and we continue investing there, making sure that we continue providing best-in-class protection to our customer, and it's very important for FSecure. And now moving on to consumer. So I think consumer, we have a couple of key themes here to discuss. So first, as I already mentioned in the beginning of the call, so our direct business growth was really phenomenal, and we are focusing in the Nordics. So we are seeing a progress, really strong progress across the whole portfolio. So it's the safe. Our internet security product that continues growing. We also see that the renewal rates for safe is increasing, which is actually very encouraging, that we see that the customer stickiness and the loyalty is all the time improving. Freedom, our privacy and VPN product is continuing its growth. So although volume was significantly smaller than safe, but it starts to be a very good addition in our portfolio, and where I'm perhaps mostly happy is that the traction that we are seeing with Total, that is a commercial bundle of freedom and safe. So really tying these two amazing products together and offering additional value to our customers. And if I'm now looking at our entire customer base for safe and freedom, so really a substantial majority of customers are today still only using either safe or either freedom. So we are still looking at the very significant upside opportunity by cross-selling the missing product to this customer base. And operator channel at large, so remains stable, as I said in the beginning. So if we exclude that one loss of account in Latin America, so operator channel is stable, it continues growing. We are driving a lot of activities with those partners, pushing for more device activation, pushing for better take-up rate, and more operators are building strong business cases, how they see that adding security as a value-added service to their broadband customers or mobile data customers is really not only a revenue-generating value-added service, but it also drives retention. So I think the overall dynamics with the operator channel continue being very healthy. Also, like our Net Promoter Score surveys that we do with our operator channel continue showing really best-in-class numbers with the operators, and I think this just gives us further confidence that it's a strong channel for FSecure. They are long-term partners, and we continue looking at that very strategically, and the stability is definitely there. And the last but not the least to mention is the Sense as a software. I think this is an interesting piece. So 6 months ago, roughly, we started shipping our Sense hardware product, our first ever consumer hardware product, and since it's addressing the need to protect the entire home or all connected devices in the home. So not just your PC, smartphone and tablet, but all devices with connectivity, be it your gaming console, smart TV, Wi-Fi enabled toasters or coffee makers or light bulbs or what have you. I think the amount of connected devices in people's home is just increasing rapidly, and we wanted to have a product that just does it all, so would just protect them all. Now, additionally to Sense as the hardware product, we have a lot of discussions with so many of our old-time strategic operator partners to add Sense as a software capability to the routers, to their digital home media hub solutions that the operators are building. So although I think it will take time before this market will start delivering a notable top line, because I think these negotiations take time, and it takes time for operators to roll out the solutions. But I'm actually quite positive with the outlook and about the new opportunity that FSecure is facing with this operator channel by equipping them with our Sense software. Then I think moving towards the closer, so really looking at FSecure strategy. So we really want to focus and offer enterprise grade cybersecurity for the mid-market, and it's really the mid-market that is the sweet spot for FSecure. There is no universal definition what mid-market range officially is. So every company is having their own definition for it. We are carrying a rather broad definition for mid-market. So for us, mid-market starts from about 200 employee companies and ranges all the way up to 5,000. So for us, mid-market goes that far. And really one of the key rationales with the mid-market approach is the fact that we really want to address those customers where the security needs is broader than just endpoint protection, so that we can really take a full leverage of our total portfolio. So pushing not only endpoint protection, but complement that with the rapid detection service, and later with the EDR, added vulnerability management, radar, adding some of the consulting services, but perhaps items like incident response, and if need be, helping them with the forensics and stuff like that. So really taking a full leverage of the B2B portfolio that is just so much stronger today than it has ever been. And then we have a lot of shared technology that we can then utilize also in the consumer business. And we continue servicing small businesses as well. We continue servicing large enterprises as well. And especially with cybersecurity consulting, many of the key customers there are large enterprises like finance and aviation as an example. A couple of the verticals where we are seeing really strong result and a lot of need to our services. So those would be kind of a good examples of servicing also some specific verticals, even if they go beyond the mid-market upper range of 5,000 people. But really, it's the mid-market where we are focusing. And then moving on towards the end, so I'm looking at the outlook. So we are issuing now outlook that our corporate revenue, we expect that to grow over 15% during 2018. We expect the revenue from consumer security to stay at the same level as 2017. So this gives you an idea that although we are now witnessing a revenue decline in consumer in Q4, but we have a very high confidence that to bounce back, and the underlying dynamics and the bigger trend has not changed. So it's really impacted only with the one-off. So overall, our outlook for consumer business is very, very stable, and therefore we are issuing a outlook that to stay same level as 2017. And profitability, EBIT. So although we are investing and we are growing, we are in B2B growing faster than the market. So we are keeping the company with black numbers, unlike many of our competitors. I think that's a very positive sign, running a healthy operation. And we are looking at the EBIT in the same range as we landed 2017. So we're giving a guidance range here between 8 and 12 million. And then closing off with the long-term financial outlook. So we decided now to issue a long-term outlook also for the revenue. So this really follows a lot the same lines as we are guiding for 2018. So our long-term guidance is that we are very confident and looking at the market and very confident with our own ability and the product range and the sales performance that we will continue mid to long term as well to grow clearly faster than the market. And we've given a level here that we continue long term also grow above 15% annually. So that's the thinking there. And now for what comes to profitability long term. So this is something that we considered carefully. So what would be the right way to elaborate and explain our thinking to investor community? And our thinking really is that we didn't want to commit to any particular profitability level specifically, and we didn't want to commit to any particular year specifically when we would be turning more towards profits and not investing for growth. So what we really want to communicate here is that the company is operating a very scalable business model. So the underlying profitability is there. It's just that we are investing so significantly that the profitability is now weaker because of the investments. But we foresee that in the long term we can improve our current profitability very significantly. But we didn't want to give a specific range of a specific year when would we do it. And the whole thinking is that we are closely monitoring our own performance. We are monitoring the market conditions. So really looking at all the time, finding the right balance between investments and profitability. So how do we best optimize the value creation? And if I'm looking at the market, so at least for now, it's a growth market. I think it wouldn't be wise to continue pushing for growth. And secondly, I think the market drivers in value creation is largely built around top line. So we also think that for the best shareholder value, it's also the right thing right now to optimize company much more towards growth versus profitability. But it's a healthy company, and the profitability can improve significantly in the long term. And if you look at FSecure previous years profitability, I think you have an idea what the company is capable of easily. And also I think the industry best benchmarks are in software business quite profitable. So that is definitely within the reach if so decided. But this is something that we are looking closely and trying to optimize for long-term value creation and without giving those specific profitability ranges or specific year when would we start optimizing more towards profit than growth. But right now we are very growth oriented. We are very focused on mid-market, enterprise grade cybersecurity for mid-market. So that really is the company focus. And 2017 was a good year. And now we are into 2018 and things are definitely looking very interesting. So that's all I had. And before turning into questions is that our proposal for the AGM for dividend is 4 cents per share, and this is quite much aligning with the company dividend policy, which is to pay approximately half of its profits as dividends. So we are following the company dividend policy here quite closely. All right, that's all. So we have time for some questions, if there's any. All right, seems like no questions. Thank you very much for joining and have a nice day. Bye-bye.